for Sean Mackey to strike! It's Calvin Miller up against McGowan. Miller sends it in! It's Miller time, baby! Champions again! Falkirk have broken through the glass ceiling! After 15 years in the wilderness, Falkirk Football Club is once again a Premiership club!
This is Falkirk Daft.
With Behind the Wall, we're navy blue, are you?
Hello and welcome to Falkirk Daft, your unofficial Falkirk FC podcast. It's your second edition of the week and I'm on my own, all by myself yet again, as we look ahead to the Scottish Cup fourth round game against Hearts, and we're going to that in the company of the Terrace. He's Craig Fowler just in a minute. I'm of course John McAnally, and I've not got the Ginger God pod here with me today. I won't be heading to Tynecastle on Saturday, so I'll be watching on the telly, but it should be a cracking away day here at the time of recording, which is Tuesday the 13th of January, just before the Celtic game. That we've sold about 1,500 tickets. I think that'll go to 2,500. So it should be a racket come Saturday 8 o'clock, especially since everyone is going to be in the pub early doors and getting steaming. So hopefully you enjoy your day, and we'll speak to Craig in a bit just about the game. A little bit of club news since we last spoke to you on Monday is that we've got a new player in the door. I didn't see this one coming, and it looks like it's a number 10 as we sign Louis Marsh from Sheffield United on loan until the end of the season. 21-year-old, he was on loan at Doncaster Rovers and Fleetwood Town last season. I think Sheffield United have got big hopes for this lad, and on all accounts, looking at the Fleetwood fan page and stuff, they quite rated him as well. So hopefully a good player in the door. He's had a couple of games at Sheffield United as well. John said Louis is another one I've had eyes on since summer, very much like Ben as well. And the message was he'd be staying at Sheffield United. They went through a bad period, changed manager, and they never really got the opportunity to get him into the first team. So he was there and thereabouts first team. We've managed to get him on loan deal to the end of the season. And this is the bit I thought was really interesting. I think it was Kenny Black. Remember Kenny Black, formerly of Airdrie? He's a local lad as well. He's working down at Sheffield United and helped in the move. So thank you very much, Kenny. That the homegrown boys helping us out. Jack Ross Wilson, now Kenny Black, helping out with the move to get the lad in the door. It's interesting, though. I'll be interested to see where he ends up playing. I've got a feeling he'll been brought in to play the 10. But you asked the question, what does that mean for the likes of Ed Nesbitt, Gary Oliver, Alfie Agyeman? Will we see these guys go out on loan in January? We'll wait and find out. A lot of times thought we go in January. Will we bring in any more players in? I can't see us. I think that's the kind of positions we're looking for, like striker with Ross being injured, and that number 10 with Scotty leaving. That's the positions that these guys have come into replace, both in Ben and Louis. We'll wait and find out what happens. There's still plenty of time to go in January, though, so who knows? Before we speak to Craig, let's say thank you very much to Behind the Wall. Of course, stay local, eat and drink local, and drink the Falkirk Daft Venom. There's still tickets available for the Hearts bus, so if you're listening to this, there might still be some available, so jump on the Behind the Wall bus to Tynecastle. Of course, I think it's £12.50 this one, plus you get your beer on return, and you can have a Falkirk Daft Venom. It's the original, it's the best, and you can only get them at Behind the Wall. And of course, we've got a great Bairns night coming up with the Tri-Theatre on the 23rd of January. Tickets still available for that, and we may have a wee competition for that on Monday's show, so keep listening for that. All the stuff you need to know about Behind the Wall, behindthewall.co.uk. Right, okay, let's talk about the Scottish Cup game against Hearts now, and let's do it in the company of a man you'll have seen on your tellies on View from the Terrace. He is the king of the Terrace podcast. It's Craig Fowler. Hi, Craig.
Hi, how's it going?
The king of the Terrace podcast. I think you are the one in the throne. You have all your minions around you.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, really, I'm a big fan of you calling them minions. Yeah, that's it. Perfectly describes it, I would say.
Listen, but obviously you do the Terrace, but you're obviously a massive Hearts supporter, Craig. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I think I've got to start in recent history. That save from Craig Gordon at the weekend, one of the best ever.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. We've had a couple of Aberdeen fans on the Terrace notifications on Twitter today saying that the save wasn't that good, and one of them even referred to it as routine. I think it's if you need any more proof that Hearts' success this season is breaking the brains of rival supporters in the Scottish Premiership, and I don't think you can look further than that. But no, I was in attendance at Dundee. I mean, obviously, I think everybody thought it was in. You could see Emile Aqua running away. I mean, I think he was about to run all the way to Harrogate because he's joined them on loan since then. But he was away. He thought it was in. Everybody thought it was in. And 43 years of age, still doing stuff like that. His first league game of the season. Just incredible.
Actually, his first league game, his first game for Hearts was against Falkirk, and that's ended not so good for Craig Gordon in a 4-0 defeat in the Scottish Cup at Broadville.
A common misnomer that it wasn't his first game. It was his second game. I was at his first game. It was a 1-1 draw against Livingston in Almonville.
I didn't realise that because I do think a lot of people mark that down as Craig Gordon.
There's even a lot of Hearts fans who think that was his debut, but it was his second game.
There you go. Before we talk about the Cup, Craig, Hearts, obviously we played them twice already in the league. First time round, it was a fairly routine job. Hearts played very well on the day at Tynecastle with that 3-0 defeat that we suffered there. We've got a bit more streetwise since then, and obviously when you visited the Falkirk Stadium, it was a terrible, terrible night. A couple of months ago back, or about a month or so back, I thought actually on that day or on that night it was a very even game, but Hearts just showed their class on the night.
Yeah. It's a funny one to judge that last game because definitely an even contest, but you have to kind of do factor in the kind of, quote unquote game state where the fact that Hearts scored so early and they had something to hang on to, and were the away side playing a team that for several weeks, months now has been in good form. So there had to be a lot of defending, there had to be a lot of digging deep, which is what Hearts have basically been doing consistently since, the last 3-4 months has only been since we beat Kelly away. I think there's been Dundee at home. That's been the only match really where there's been any degree of comfort whatsoever. Every other match is nail biting for 90 minutes. It's as great as it is to be a Hearts fan right now. It's not good on the old ticker.
I guess that's what you get from McInnes' side. They're generally quite pragmatic. You don't get those free-flowing, scoring loads of goals matches. So I thought actually on the night, Stephen Kingsley's goal was an exceptional goal. But yeah, I thought Hearts just managed the game a bit better than Falkirk did on the night.
Yeah, you're right. That is kind of what McInnes wants his teams to do. That's his reputation. It's a reputation that's deserved, and you can't say it's not because. And I know the St Mirren game would have taken place since then, but if you look back to the Dundee game on Sunday, seeing out the last 20 minutes, 5 centre-backs, 3 industrious centre midfielders, and then just Landry Cabori running about by himself up front. That is very much a McInnes move, and he is somebody that, for better or worse, he has had criticism in the past. Hearts fans haven't really had anything to criticise him about this season. I mean, some of his team selections have been a wee bit ropey, but in general, I think Hearts fans have been pretty happy overall with the football. But if you look at his tenure at Aberdeen, especially towards the end, where they just got sick of the fact that he was too pragmatic. But again, I feel like I'm chancing fate here because we're going to be beaten 3-0 by St Mirren on Wednesday. But so far, it's worked for Hearts this season, and while it continues to work, you can't really have any complaints.
I should preface that we are recording this ahead of the midweek fixtures. So, I mean, I think a question from me, Craig, is how bothered are Hearts about the Cup? Obviously, is it more? Are the supporters more focused in because I feel with Falkirk supporters, we're it's the Cup's it's fine. We're Tynecastle, we're expected to get beat over Hearts, and we'd rather cement ourselves in the league. Is there a similar kind of feeling over with the Hearts supporters, or is it just let's try and get as much as we can this season?
It's a funny one. I saw somebody online saying that recently, that as much as you want to win the Cup, that you never know. There's a train of thought that this is just the start of the Tony Bloom investment in the Jamestown Analytics, and this is not going to be the only season where Hearts can win a title. There's going to be the squad's going to because of the success of the season, we're going to sell a couple of players in the summer. Hopefully not January. Sell them in the summer for a lot of money, reinvest that, and we'll get better and better. And this is going to be something for the long haul. But you just don't know in football, do you? Like, you just don't know in sport in general. Yeah. There's so many times where teams, and I think this is something that's, I'm a big NBA fan, and this is something that's very common there, when you get like young teams together and you think, well, these guys are going to progress and they're going to win multiple titles, and it just doesn't happen. Like, guys get injured, guys decide they want away. Like in football, like for Hearts, of like, could be the next summer we sign a bunch of guys in Jamestown Analytics, and that gives, it's there to give you an advantage, but that advantage doesn't mean that the guys you're going to bring in are going to be any good. Like, you can still manage to, it helps your odds, but those odds could still end up being that you sign 7 players and they're all rubbish, and then you end up like mid-table for a season, and that really knocks things back. So it could be a once-in-a-lifetime thing that Hearts have got this campaign to win the title when Celtic or Rangers are playing as poorly as they are. So, but at the same time, it's the Scottish Cup, and a lot of Hearts fans are dreaming, but nobody's expecting. Put it that way. So if we go out the cup, there will be people. There will be fans, and the fans in general will be like a bit philosophical. Will be like, right, that's annoying. Wish that hadn't happened. However, it does mean that we've got less games and we could concentrate in the league, and that might be an advantage. But I don't think anybody would be necessarily that happy about it, especially when you already consider that probably maybe even our poorest performance of the season overall. Certainly one of St Mirren away in the League Cup in August. We'll lose that in penalties. If we win that, do we not already have a trophy so far this season? So you don't want to you can't just pass up the Scottish Cup. So no, I certainly want us to win. But if McInnes rotates a little bit and gives some of these fringe players I was
going to ask you, how do you think he will? I mean, I think he probably has to rotate the squad, I'm guessing, with obviously the midweek fixture coming in here, and then, you know, the like you say, the Importance Cup. But it's how much he will rotate them. Who do you expect to line up for Hearts?
So yeah, the lineup will tell us a lot about how he treats the cup and whether he is focused on that just as big as he is focused on league games. Because there's certain things he could do just to kind of freshen things up in terms of his kind of core unit. But what would be interesting is if guys like Sabah or Jota, who is like endeared himself to fans with that cross at the end of the game against Hibs, but it's barely been seen since.
Cabangu
likely won't play, but simply for the reason that Hearts are trying to offload him in January. Because I think a lot of people would agree that Cabangu is a better player than Landry Kabori, but Kabori's the one that's been coming off the bench because Kabori's here for the longer term, and they think that Cabangu's going to go, or they're at least trying to get rid of him as quickly as possible. Kabori's somebody that's the kind of player that would probably be rotated in. Kabori, like Blair Spittle might appear in the team again. Like Magnussen's been playing on the flank recently. He might get moved inside to give either Benny or Devlin a rest, and then you might see, like I say, Kurjota come in for a rear start, or Blair Spittle coming in defence. Try to think who's available. We've got
do you think Braga or Kesaridis, they'll be rested?
Possibly. We have recently signed Islam Chesnikov. However, I have heard that he is not fully match fit yet, so I don't think he would start. But if he doesn't get much of a run out against St Mirren, and maybe imagine that if he doesn't start against Falkirk, that he at least gets a bit of time off the bench. McInnes is kind of, for the fact that Hearts have got a big squad, McInnes has kind of kept a core group that he really trusts this season, and that may open up a little bit more on Saturday.
Interesting. I mean, I just see that just as we switched on there that they've just signed a Ugandan striker on a pre-contract as well. Do you expect Hearts? I'm guessing the answer would be no to do any more business between now and the weekend.
Between now and the weekend, no. I would be very surprised if there's a player that comes in before the end of the window. Possibly. I think Hearts need. I actually think Hearts need another forward. But it will very much depend. It'll very much depend on whether Cabangu leaves, because there'll still be 5 forwards in the books, and they might even also look to punt out James Wilson on loan because he's not been playing at all. But there needs to be a bit more variation in the Hearts forwards. I'd say there needs to be somebody that's a bit bigger, I would say. And McInnes has always liked a big striker, but we don't have really anybody up front that can head the ball.
Do you think James Wilson's maybe done it, Hearts, then, as a result of all that?
He doesn't have a long contract, so it is a possibility. And when he was signing these deals, he kept just basically... He signed a contract when he first turned 16, which was a bit of a surprise because there was English clubs after him. I think Aston Villa was the one that was kind of widely touted. But the contract he signed was only like 2 years with an option for another that I think he held. And he's just continued to kind of sign 1 year deals after that. And so if he's not playing, say this rolls into next season, or the second half of this season he doesn't play, and then next season he's not playing either, yeah, I can imagine he will go elsewhere, because we saw last season, like, he didn't have a great end to the campaign, and when he's been given a chance this season, he's not played well. But he's not getting a chance in the team. He's obviously not got much ability to build up a rhythm, build up confidence. But when you saw when he first came into the side last season, from like November time until our form really started to turn downward again about March, that he's a very talented boy for his age, could do a little bit of everything, and he needs to be playing games. Yeah, I keep forgetting that actually happened in Scotland Cup.
Yeah, got a Scot. I mean, it was actually a player that I thought for Falkirk would have been a good fit, but we've obviously went out and signed Ben Parkinson there from Newcastle, and also bringing in Louis Marsh from Sheffield United. So
there was rumours I saw online about Wilson maybe going to Falkirk, and I was quite excited by that, because I mean, you just have to look at what John McGlynn has done to many, many players in your squad, and I was thinking, what can he do with James Wilson? But unfortunately not.
Yeah, I mean, John McGlynn obviously making League One Falkirk sixth position, top six Falkirk, hopefully, as well.
Exactly,
but there's a long way to go, Craig. As a Hearts supporter, you probably know that better than anyone else.
I think we're both in the position where we're kind of maybe a bit less on the legs. It certainly looks like now that you're not going to be in any relegation bother, because you're light years ahead of Livingston and Kilmarnock. But
you say that, but I'm I'm always the pessimist in the podcast. I'm just like, well, maybe, but I do think 2 more wins, and I think when you think that there were 20 points clear of Livingston, but we're 11 points closer to Celtic. We're only 11 points off Celtic, but 20 points clear of Livingston. You think we're probably going to be all right this season. So we'll wait and see. It's now about the top 6 and hopefully finishing there. Going into the Scottish Cup then. Is there anything from a Falkirk perspective? I mean, I know you guys in the Terrace are basically, every time I see your predictions put out on your social media, it's always Falkirk are getting beat, Falkirk could get beat, Falkirk
you all take it really, really well. No heads lost at all.
We're very good. The Falkirk support are very quiet on social media. I bet you never hear from them at all, Craig. But yeah, I know I've listened to you on the Terrace podcast. You've changed your tune, Craig, as the seasons went on Falkirk. I know at the start of the season everyone had us dead sets to go down. What do you think the big threats are from Falkirk, having seen them a couple of times now in the flesh?
The big threat. See when they say the big threats, there's no like any one player that comes to mind. It's just the system. It's just how it's like. As I said in the most recent podcast, like when I was going through. I was making predictions at the start of the season. I was going through guys like Brad Spencer, like Dylan Tate, like Calvin Miller, like Ross McKeever. Thinking like these guys, they've either not played at the level or they've played at the level and not done it. So I don't see them. Finn Yates wasn't even on the radar. Wasn't even a guy I was considering, and yet he's coming to the team recently, and he's fucking brilliant at all. So it just seems like anybody that John McGlynn in that squad gets his hands on. It's just good and capable of doing something. And so when Falkirk came to Tynecastle in the season, I don't think they gave a very good account of themselves. I think that was a time when there was still maybe a lack of belief in the team. I think by that point they'd managed to build up enough confidence that they knew that they belonged at Premiership level. But when you were playing away to Hearts, who were top of the league and absolutely flying, I think that day they kind of thought, especially as soon as it went 1-0, they kind of thought, right, well, we're out our depth here, we're going to get beat. I don't think they're going to be like that at Tynecastle on Saturday. If Hearts go ahead early, Falkirk aren't going to do what they did in that game and kind of just roll over and allow their belly to be rubbed. It's going to be, they're going to continue to fight. And I mean, there's a lot of players in that Falkirk side who, like, very good counter-attacking players. I mentioned Miller. Same with Ethan Williams. Same with Carell Wilson. Like, these guys, very quick on the counter. And the ability for that Falkirk side as well to pass the ball. Kind of similar to But similar to kind of Motherwell as well. And you saw what Motherwell done at Tynecastle earlier in the season. Defensively, not so much, but in terms of attack, brilliant. And a Tynecastle crowd, even in a season as good as this one, is a crowd that can get easily frustrated and turn on its team. So you've got the counter-attacking threat, but you've also got the ability to just keep the ball and to keep it away from Hearts, and that will get the crowd on the back of the Hearts players. So I am not going into this game. I'm obviously confident, but I'm not going into this game thinking, oh, this will be a walk in the park, or this is an easy route to the next round. I think this will be a tough match for Hearts, and like so many of Hearts games recently, I think it will be decided by just a goal.
I'm really intrigued to, like you're intrigued with the Hearts. I'm really intrigued to see who McGuinn brings in. And again, that'll be an intention of where we're going to be looking to go this season as well. I wonder if there will be the likes of, we'll wait and see how we line up against Celtic, but the likes of Ben Parkinson coming in. Like you say, Ethan Williams had a lot of bench time recently, so he maybe comes back into the side. They might even think, well, let's give Cole Donaldson a run out. He's just returning back from injury, so they might, Cole's a massive Hearts fan as well. So you might see someone like Cole coming in, but it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a bit of a game of chess in terms of the lineups and seeing who goes where and what goes. But it should be a good game, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good piss up because it's an 8:00 kickoff on a Saturday night.
Dreadful kickoff time for a guy doing dry January. It has to be said. I think I'm going to go to the cinema early in the day and then go to the pub.
Why are you doing dry January when you knew this game was coming up? I mean, I kicked the arse out at St Mirren on Saturday there, so I'm actually not making the game. I'm going to sit and get some husband points by just watching it on the telly with my son and not going kicking the arse out of it for a full day in Edinburgh. Just on for the supporters heading through, I know we all have our favourite places in Edinburgh. Would you recommend any pubs for the Falkirk supporters, Craig?
So my dad and his pals, and so do I on occasion. I kind of flip between there and the Diggers, but the pub typically for away fans is the Roseburn, which is a very good pub as well. It's always a mix. There's always a good few Hearts fans in there as well, but that's typically where away fans go. And there'll be a mix for a game like Falkirk in the Cup, where how big a away section do you have? Is it how many sections?
Full stand. We've got 3,000.
Full stand. Okay, then I think in that case the Roseburn will be exclusively Falkirk fans, because it's usually a mix for every other team except from, or it used to be Celtic Rangers. I don't think it is anymore because they just get one section. But it used to be like those games you would go elsewhere, but it's basically that's the Hibs game now where it's like the Roseburn is off limits, but it's a good pub and that's where the away fans normally go, so I would recommend there. It's either that or the Murrayfield, and the Roseburn's a lot better.
I've drank in the Roseburn several occasions, and that is actually my father-in-law, who is a Hibbie. That is his local. So yes, very good pub that. So there you go, recommended by Craig Fowler. Listen, before I let you go, Craig, what do you think the score's going to be come Saturday? It's a hard one to call, I think.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it'll be decided by a goal. So obviously, I'm going to pick my own side. So I'm going to go 2-1 Hearts. I think it'll be a good cup game.
Yeah, I'm going to go for scrappy draw, go to penalties and a Falkirk win. That's what I'm kind of hoping.
That'd be the worst. That'd be the absolute worst. I've got to get a train back to Glasgow like the back of a liver.
You'll have Craig Gordon back in six, but Craig Gordon is famously shite at saving penalties. So
he saves one every shootout. That's what he does. He saves one every shootout. So as long as we don't miss one, we should be fine.
He is suspended, isn't he? He will be suspended for this match, the goalkeeper, Rose. That's the Scottish Cup not count, actually.
No, because he'll serve his 1 game suspension against St Mirren. So Swallow,
right, okay, yeah.
Swallow could be back. That's actually an interesting one. And I talked about this on the terrace. It could be a case where he gives Gordon the cup, basically gives him 2 games in a row.
And then see how he does from there.
I wouldn't want that. And he also might just use Gordon as a cup goalie because he's got the World Cup and he's a good servant.
Even after his heroics at the weekend, and Craig performs well against St Mirren, well against Falkirk, do you think, does he not retain the number 1 shot?
Not for me. Statistically, this season, Swallow's been the best shot stopper in the Scottish Premiership and better than Craig Gordon was over the course of last season. And as unbelievable as that save was, and I thank him for saving us 2 points while we're still top of the table, Craig Gordon was doing my nutting before then because he was refusing to come for crosses. And having watched Swallow this season, somebody who is commanding of his 6-yard box, going back to Craig Gordon being rooted on his line was quite galling, let's put it that way. So I think that and also as well, kicking comes into it. Swallows a lot better kicking the ball out for the back. At this stage of their career, Craig Gordon, obviously, for what he's done, Hearts legend, best goalkeeper I've ever seen at the club, best goalkeeper I've probably seen in Scottish football. But in terms of where they're at right now, Swallow is still definitely number one for me.
Well, you've obviously not seen Scott Bain. You'll get to see him on Saturday. Before I go,
another good Jambo, I think, is it not?
Listen, we've been doing this all season on our preview episode for how well do you know your team quiz, because every podcast has got to have a quiz. Currently, Hearts are actually third in the table. You and Cameron came on representing Hearts and got 6 points. I'll give you 60 seconds on the clock. 10 questions about Hearts. You've got to answer as many questions as you can. Currently top of the table is Aberdeen. Right, so they've got 8 points. That was Sheepy who came on representing Aberdeen. So, and you'll be glad to know Rangers pretty much at the bottom. Stephen Purden came on representing Rangers way back in I think it was October. Right, okay, and so let's put your Hearts knowledge to the test on how well do you know your team quiz, and your time starts now. Who scored a hat-trick in Falkirk's 4-0 win over Hearts in the Scottish Cup?
Colin Samuel.
How many times have Hearts won the Scottish Cup?
7.
Which team did Hearts face in the 4th round last year?
Shit. Fuck. Pass.
What squad number does Eduardo Agu have?
Oh, it's something stupid. 50-something, 55. No, it's not that. Something like that.
Who's the only player to play for Falkirk currently on the Hearts books?
Falkirk on the Hearts books. Pass.
Which manager was in charge of Hearts when they were defeated 4-0 at Brockville?
Craig Levine.
Who were the foreign shirt sponsors when Puma made the kit?
Oh, I don't know.
Name any sub that came off the bench in the 1998 final.
For either team. Jose Katongo.
How many goals has Lauren Shanklin got for Scotland?
4.
That's your time, but I'll give you that. There you go, right in at the end there, Craig. Let's look it through your scores. I'll give you the last question, see if you got that. In what season did the Hearts win their first Scottish Cup?
Oh, it would have been 1800s. I think it's 1896, maybe.
Oh, 91. Oh. Colin Samuel got the hat-trick. Hearts have actually won the Scottish Cup 8 times.
Fuck! Brecon
City, you played in last year's.
Oh, yes, so we did.
Eduardo Agu has number 40 on his back. This wasn't the only player to play for Falkirk on Hearts books at the moment.
All right, let me have a think.
Scored the last time against Falkirk.
Oh, of course.
Stephen Kingsley. There you go. Craig Levine, it was Save the Children who were front the shirt sponsors when Puma made your kit. Jim Hamilton was the only player to come off the Hearts bench in the 98 Cup final. I couldn't believe that.
Sorry, did you say the Cup final? Oh,
yeah.
Because it was Falkirk Hearts, I was thinking of the semi-final.
Yeah.
I knew, for fuck's sake, I knew it was Hamilton, man. I know literally everything about that game. I've watched it about 18 times.
There you go. And you got the rest. So that's 1, 2, 3 out of 10. Craig, that's poor.
Oh, wait, what was the Shankland one?
The Shankland one, you got that, so it's 4. You got 4, so
right.
that's your 4.
That's
Craig Levine, Colin Samuel. So you're down near the bottom with Rangers. You and Cameron also came on a second time, got 3 points for Hearts. So we'll total them up at the end of the season. We'll see where you sit on the table.
I should have got. I should have got 6. In fact, I should have got 7, 8. Do you know what? Actually, when I said 7, and then I was thinking like you're asking the next question, I was like, I think it might be 8.
Pressure gets you, Craig. The pressure gets you. Listen, enjoy the game on Saturday. Don't enjoy it too much, though. And thanks for coming on Falkirk Daft.
Cheers. I'm raging about that quiz. You've really ended this on a downer for me. I'm disgusted with my performance.
This is Falkirk Daft.
With Behind the Wall and the Falkirk football fans in training.
So there you have it. That was Craig from the Terrace Podcast. Not doing so well on the Guess Your Team there, which is, I always take delight when people don't do well. Just the Falkirk supporter in me. Fingers crossed that's a good omen for Saturday's game. Before we go, thanks very much to the Falkirk football fans in training. New year, new you. Getting down to the stadium 8:30 to 9:30 every Wednesday. join up with the boys down there. The Falkirk football fans are training. The T8s are helping mental health and helping get fit in 2026. They've got their Elite Academy and Legend sections, and now the over 50 section as well. So if you fancy a kickabout, not put on the boots in a wee while, get yourself down to the stadium every Wednesday, 8:30 to 9:30. The links are below. Speak to Ian, Willie or Dougie and they'll sort you out, so please do that. Thanks very much for listening to this edition of Falkirk Daft. It's just been me on my own again, but Ross will be back as we look back at the Hearts game come Monday. So look forward to that, and hopefully a big win for the Falkirk Bairns. And I look forward to see what happens at the stadium. I'm recording this Tuesday, so fingers crossed we're getting 3 points against Celtic. It's a free hit. Come on, the Bairns. So yeah, hopefully we've got 3 points in the bag by that time. Thanks very much for listening. Remember, leave comments below on the YouTube channel if you're watching then. If you're on Spotify, you can leave comments there as well, or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Sign up to socials, just search for Falkirk Daft. Remember, you can get merch at merch.falkirkdaft.co.uk. And if you want to sponsor an episode, you can do that as well. John at falkirkdaft.co.uk. Drop me an email, and we've got very reasonable. There you go. Listen, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one, and until that time, expect the unexpected.
We're Falkirk Daft, we're Falkirk Daft, talking about the dark blues and having a bit of a laugh. We're Falkirk Daft, we're Falkirk Daft. You can listen in the pub or you can listen in the bath. We're Falkirk Daft, we're Falkirk Daft. For everyone who's caring about being a Falkirk Bear, we're Falkirk Daft. We are Falkirk Daft.